Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Johanna and I make videos about Japanese language schools and life as a student in Japan. If you're new to my channel, I have a bunch of videos about Japanese language schools you can check out, and subscribe to my channel if you want to know more information about Japanese language schools and life in Japan. In this video, I'm going to talk about 6 bad things and 6 good things about going to a Japanese language school. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video is based on my own experiences and from what I heard from other friends who've also gone to Japanese language schools, and I hope that you will learn something new that you didn't know yet about Japanese language schools. So I have my little list here that I'm going to get up, and okay, I think we're ready. Let's start the video. Okay, as with anything, let's start with the bad things and end with the good ones. So the first bad thing about Japanese language schools that I do think a lot of people who have done some research have come across is that it is pretty expensive. Personally, I worked really hard for over a year and saved money to go to Japan, and I'm also lucky enough to be from a country where we can take out a student loan that pays for the tuition and for living costs. But if you don't have parents who can pay for you or are lucky enough to be able to use a student loan, it's pretty hard to finance your studies, and it is pretty expensive, and I know quite a lot of people who want to go but they can't for financial reasons. The second bad thing about Japanese language schools is that the quality of the education really depends on what school you choose. So when you do choose a school, you should not just research the location and the tuition fee, but also research and try to find information about what other students think about the school and the quality of the education. Just be aware that some people spread negative information about language schools based on their own personal bad experiences, and that doesn't always reflect the school and the quality of the education of that school. I would recommend to try to get in contact with someone who is enrolled in that school or has been going there before, and I'm always open to answer questions about the language school I went to, which is Fukuoka Foreign Language College. The third bad thing is that many Japanese language schools have a heavy focus on the JLPT exam and trying to get the students to pass different levels of the exam, which is really good if you're actually planning on taking the test because you want to get it for a job or something like that, but not as good if you're just in Japan to learn conversational skills or something that doesn't necessarily need the JLPT. Number 4 on my bad things list is that since many language schools kind of promises you to get N2 even if you start from 0 within 2 years, and I guess the language schools feel obliged to keep their promise of all the students passing the N2, which means that they put pretty heavy pressure on you to pass the N2, not the N3 or N1, but especially the N2 exam. As some of you may know, N2 is the level of the JLPT that is necessary for most work applications and also if you want to continue to study here in Japan, and I do think that the school feels a bit pressured to make sure all the students pass the N2, which means that it can get pretty stressful, and they do put a lot of pressure on you, especially before the JLPT exams that are taking place 2 times a year. And I guess if you do want to pass the exam, it's good, but if you're, like I said before, not as interested in the JLPT, it can get really stressful for no reason. Number 5 on my bad things list is that if you enroll in a Japanese language school with a lot of Western people or just people who are able to speak English, most of your conversations before class, in the breaks, and after class will be in English. Of course, you might not mind that. I did not really mind that, but if you do want to use your time and speak Japanese as much as possible, I would recommend you to choose a school with a demographic of people who might not be as good at speaking English, so you get to practice your Japanese even more outside of class. Number 6 on my bad things list doesn't necessarily have to be a problem for everyone, but when I went to language school, I experienced that the teachers in language school kind of treat the students as middle school kids. Many people who come to study in Japanese language schools are 25 years or older and expect to be treated in a more professional way, while the classroom setting is very typical middle school, and the way the teachers talk to you and how some of the exercises are more childish and might seem a little out of place for people who are a little older and would prefer to do things in a little more professional manner. Personally, I didn't mind this though. It might be because I was 20 years old when I enrolled in the language school, or maybe because it just kind of fit my personality. Okay, now for my good things list. Number 1 is that a Japanese language school is a very safe environment for you to make a lot of mistakes while learning the language. There's no other place that is as accepting of you making mistakes and will actually help you and correct your mistakes. In a lot of other places in Japan, if you make a mistake while talking Japanese, people will probably not correct you, while the teachers will always actively help you to improve your Japanese. And in other cases, if you make a mistake with, for example, how you use formal Japanese, you might get in trouble. But in Japanese language school, it's kind of natural to make mistakes when you talk, and everyone is there to help you and really make you improve your Japanese in a very relaxed and comfortable environment. Number 2 is that homeroom teachers most often look at everyone's individual language skills and not just the class as a whole. And then they try to make a schedule and form an education that covers everyone's needs. If you, for example, are good at speaking but lacking kanji skills, your teacher will probably notice that sooner or later and make sure to maybe give you extra exercises or just form the schedule so that you will be able to catch up with that. Number 3 is that the school days are pretty short, usually not more than about 4 hours a day, which gives you a lot of time to use for whatever you want. Like if you want to do a part-time job, you can do that. And if you just want to take some time to explore your city, or I don't know, do whatever hobby you have, or just explore Japan, you have a lot of free time to do that. Number 4 is that even though it's called a Japanese language school, language is definitely not the only thing you learn, but you get to learn a lot about Japanese culture and Japanese manners as well. Some schools even arrange regular events where you get to try out tea ceremony, going hiking in the Japanese nature, and stuff like that. At my school, I got to try out tea ceremony, I went to a Japanese soccer game, I went hiking in the mountains, I got to try on a kimono, I went on a one-day trip to a beautiful city called Yufuin, and so many more things. Number 5 is that the teachers and staff will not only help you with your Japanese language skills, but also help you with a lot of other things concerning your life here in Japan. Things like opening a bank account, finding a part-time job, and moving into a new apartment. And before graduating, they will help you with job searching and applications for schools if you're planning on going to a vocational school or university. Number 6 on my good things list is that you get to meet people from all over the world at your language school. Some of my favorite memories from language school include just learning a bunch of random words in different languages from my friends from different countries, and anytime after a long break from school where everyone had been back to their countries, coming back to language school and just giving everyone a bunch of snacks from their countries. That is all I had for today, but if you're interested and want to know more good and bad things about Japanese language schools, please let me know in the comments and I will try to gather some more information to give to you in another video just like this. Like I mentioned before, I use my channel here on YouTube to make videos about language schools and life as a student in a university in Japan, and I'm always open to answer any questions you might have about student life in Japan. If you have any questions, if you want to say hello, or have any suggestions for other videos you want me to make, just leave a comment here in the YouTube comment section or send me a message on Instagram. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also follow me on Instagram for more daily life post updates on life here in Japan. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye!